We were hanging out with one of our little toddler friends recently, and she had the cutest little bitty tote bag that she carried with her everywhere she went. She loved it so much. And when I saw it, I realized I had to recreate it, and I had to teach you how to recreate it so that more toddlers can experience the joy of this little tote, which I'm calling the Tot Tote. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make an adorable little tote bag that is perfect for a small person in your life, but it's also perfect for you. So let's go. The finished size of the Tot Tote is about 8 inches wide and about 7 inches tall, and then it has a nice rounded bottom, so it can actually hold quite a few little kid items like little mini toys, thinking putty, markers, and like a little notepad of paper. It all would fit in there pretty nicely, and it has 2 little handles that are about 10 inches at the finished size. The round bottom also lets it stand up by itself. So once it has some things in it, you can kind of set it on your table and it should just stand up. And this is an excellent scrap busting project. I went through my scrap fabrics to make all of the models that I'm going to be showing you. So let me show you the materials that you need. The outside and the inside layers of the bag are made up of 2 pieces of fabric for the outside that are both 10 inches wide, 7 inches tall. And then you need that same amount of fabric for the inner layers. So 10 inches wide, 7 inches tall. And the bottom part of the bag is made of another piece of fabric that is 5 inches tall and 7 inches wide. So you need one of these for the outer fabric and one of those for the inner fabric. All of these measurements are in the description box underneath this video. So if you just click down below, you can see all of the measurements. The top edge of the bag and the handles are both made from bias tape. Now, I made my own bias tape from 2-inch scraps of fabric and this really simple bias tape making tool. You can also buy bias tape, and you want it to be 2-inch bias tape, which is actually folded to a 1/2 inch. But if you were to unfold it, it's a full 2 inches of width. And you need about 2 yards or so of bias tape. If you want to make your own bias tape with one of these bias tape makers, I'm also going to link to a tutorial where I show you how to do that underneath this video. The first thing to do to make the tote tot is to bring the 2 larger pieces of outer fabric with the right sides together, and we are going to sew them along the edge here with a 1/2 inch seam allowance just on the 7-inch sides of the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. Okay, I went ahead and sewed the outer layers together and the inner layers. And the next step is to attach the smaller piece to the bottom edge of the outer layers and the inner layers. This is the only tricky part of this project. But first we want to turn this smaller piece into more of an oval shape. So I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise and then fold it again widthwise. So now I have folded it into quarters. And what I want to do is cut off the pointed corners here to get more of an oval shape. And the way that I like to do that, so it's going to map on with the outer layers, is I've got my chalk and I've got my measuring mat here. I want to measure 1.5 inch over from the corner here, and I'm going to put a mark. And then I'm going to measure 1.5 inch down from the corner and put another mark here. Okay, so those are my 2 marks. Okay, I have zoomed in a little so you can see this better. Those are my 2 marks, and now I'm just going to draw a curve from mark to mark, like so, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. There's my little curved line. We can kind of see that. And then I'm just going to cut through all 4 layers so that my piece will be symmetrical. So I'm just following that curve from mark to mark so that I have a nice curved corner here. And of course, save your tiny bits. You can repurpose these as stuffing, or you can recycle them with companies like trashy.com. But do save your little bits. If they're natural fibers, you can also compost them. Okay, so I now have an oval instead of a rectangle. And what I'm going to do is I still have a crease here where I folded it in half lengthwise. And I want to line up the crease with the seam on my outer layer. So I'm going to kind of open up this seam here so that it is flat. And then I'm going to line up the seam with the crease. So basically I'm putting the center on the center here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pin right here. So the middle of the bottom oval is lined up with this side seam from my outer fabric. And I'm only pinning it in one spot. And then I'm going to take this over to the machine and I'm going to show you how to sew it together. Because this is, like I said, this is the only tricky part of this project, and I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, now I'm at my machine here, and this is the one spot that I have pinned. So what I want to do is get this one spot under my presser foot, and I actually have a knee bar so I can lift it with my knee, which is handy. And then I'm going to lower it right on top of my pin and then take my pin out. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take my time sewing these 2 layers together and kind of turning the top pieces to follow the cut edge of my oval piece down on the bottom. So let me just show you here. So, this is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I'm just gently turning the fabric as I sew. And I want to make sure I'm only sewing the area that I want to sew. I'm not accidentally sewing multiple things together here. And I'm trying not to get any kinds of puckers as I sew. So I really want to try to get these nice and flat next to each other. And I'm just going to take my time bringing these raw edges together. You could try pinning this all in advance, but I find that when I do that, things might shift a little bit, and so I end up having to take the pins out. So I just find it's easier to just bring these layers together as I sew. Okay, so I think you get the idea here. I'm going to keep working my way around, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I got the bottom sewn onto the outer layers. I also did that for the inner layers. I know it's hard for you to see because I used a black thread. So the next step is to turn the outer layer right side out and just push out those bottom edges. And then I'm going to put the inner layer into the outer layer. And I'm going to line them up at the seams here on the sides. And I actually like to open them up and get them snuggled up to each other. Nice and cozy. Just like that. And then I'm going to put a pin there. And I'm going to do that also on the other side. So let's get one pin here. And then flip this around. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side seam. So I'm just opening it up, if it will let me. Come here. And I'm going to open up this side. And just like before, just bring them together so they're lined up really well. And add a pin. And I think all of my pins are bent right now. I don't know why. Okay, so the outer layer and the inner layer are pinned together. And the next thing to do is that we are going to sew the binding right on top of this raw edge. And I'm going to start the binding here at one of the side seams. And you can pin the binding in place all around the top edge, or you can just pin it in one spot and then just start sewing. I think I need some new pins. I don't know. These pins are not very helpful today. Okay, so we want it nice and flat, and we want that raw edge all the way up into that center fold of the binding tape. Let's try this pin again. Here we go. And then basically we're just going to sew it all the way around the top edge. And I'll show you what to do when you get back towards the beginning. If you want to have a really polished, finished edge, I'm going to link to another video where I show you how to sew the raw edges of the binding tape together. But for this project, I wanted to keep it really simple, so we're just going to sew this all the way around. And then before we finish, I'll show you at the machine what to do to finish this in a very simple way. All right, I'm at the machine. I'm going to show you how to sew this part on. And I've taken off the little drawer that is removable, and that makes this a little bit easier if you can remove that drawer from your machine. And then we can just slide the bag onto the little arm and get this bias tape under the presser foot. And then we're going to go ahead and lower that presser foot. And I'm going to pull my pin out so it doesn't come flying out and attacking me. And I'm going to go ahead and just sew fairly close to this bottom edge of the bias tape. And I'm going to take my time. And every now and then as I sew, I'm going to adjust everything to make sure it's inside the bias tape. And both edges are way up at the top crease there. And just keep doing this. So just checking and adjusting and sewing. Like I said, if you want to pin all of this in advance, you can totally do that too. So I will be right back when I get near the end. And of course, I'm going to take this pin out before I sew over the next seam. Okay, we're getting near the beginning. So of course, I'm going to take this pin out as well. And now that I can see where my bias tape is going to be finished, I'm going to actually cut it so that it's about an inch past this raw edge where I started. So you can just kind of eyeball it right about there. Go ahead and trim the bias tape. And again, like I said, if you want to do a more polished way of finishing your bias tape, I'm going to link to a video where I show you how to do that. This bag is designed to be simpler than that. And then I'm just folding the raw edge of the bias tape under a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to put it right on top of where I started. And this is again why you want to start your bias tape near your side seam, so that this little overlap is going to be less noticeable. But again, this bag is for a toddler, so it doesn't have to be super polished, and it should be easy to make and fun. That is the hope. Okay, so I'm just making sure to line things up as nicely as I can here, and I'm just taking my time, sewing it down, and then I'm going to backstitch over where I started. Okay, and then it's finished. Okay, now that the bias tape is sewn on at the top, we are going to attach the handles, and we're going to use more bias tape for the handles. So you'll want to cut 24 inches of your bias tape, and then I'm just going to sew it closed at the sewing machine. So I'm going to cut this to 24 inches, sew it closed, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I've sewn the bias tape closed, and now I'm going to just fold it in half like I have here, and I'm going to cut it right at the center. So then I have two 12-inch pieces of bias tape. These are going to become the handles. Okay, so I want to pin my handles 2 inches in from the side seam of the bag. And I also want to fold up the raw edge about a 1/2 inch so that it is going to get sewn up against the bag. Okay, so I'm just folding it over a 1/2 inch, and then I'm using my cutting mat to find 2 inches over from here. And then I'm just going to place the folded edge up against the bag and just kind of tuck it down so it's in sort of in the area of the bias tape. And then I'm going to pin it in place with one of my bent pins, just like that. Okay. And I'm going to repeat that on the other edge and make sure there's no twist in the handle also. Okay, so I'm going to again find 2 inches over from the side seam, and I'm going to put my handle right there, but first I'm going to fold up that raw edge, and then I'm going to place it up against the edge, pin, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew these in place. And the way I like to sew is to actually follow along these visible stitches so that the additional stitches aren't as noticeable. So I'm going to just sew back and forth about 3 times, trying to stay right on top of these stitches. And I'll do that for both sides of the handle. And I will also do that for the other handle, which I'm going to again place in the same way on the other side. So I'll be right back. Ta-da! It's finished and so cute. I can't wait to show this to our little toddler friend. And I hope this video inspires you to make a little tote for a loved one in your life, or maybe for yourself, because I mean, can we really have too many tiny totes in our life? I don't think so. Also, if you're looking for more small bag inspiration that are excellent scrap busting projects, I am linking to a playlist underneath this video. So check it out.